race. So that is something we need to keep in mind as we go along here. But numbers are coming in. You see them on the bottom of your screen for everything from president to state house. So we have it all covered here on WNEP2 and WNEP+. Let's see the numbers for the president as we speak right now here in Pennsylvania so far. This is what we have coming in. Just about 15% of the numbers have been reported. Vice President Harris has been in the lead throughout the night as the early returns come in. But Jim Bognett, you point out that you believe a lot of this is mail-in ballots.
Yeah, as the point I made earlier, Democrats tend to vote more mail-in, Republicans tend to vote more election day. These early returns are almost certainly biased toward the mail-in. It's going to be a close race. We all know this is going to be a few points, so just keep that in mind as you look at these early numbers.
Correct. And again, this is still very, very early, the numbers there. But they spent a lot of time in our Commonwealth campaigning because they understand the gift that Pennsylvania is. And winning these 19 electoral votes could make that path to 270 much easier for both of these candidates.
Critical. Corey O'Brien.
Most elections in the presidential sphere are determined by Pennsylvania. There's only been 3 since 1932 that have not. I think Pennsylvania is going to be strong one way or the other here. It's a close race. We think about polling and polling data. The only poll that really matters is today. Cities come in early. I think the conservative T will historically come in a little bit later in the night. So I would suspect that we'll see Harris hold that lead for quite a while here as the city votes come in. But as that conservative T starts to come in, I think you'll see Donald Trump gaining. It's just going to be a matter of whether or not he gains enough at the end of the day.
Back to ABC. We remain live on WNEP2 and WNEP+. Thanks for being with us. It's 9 o'clock. We are an hour into our live coverage. Plenty more to come. We'll take a quick break right now. Stay with us here on WNEP2. It's Your Voice, Your Vote 2024 with the news station. Don't go away.
This is Frank.
And I'm Alexia. We are your local husband and wife team, and we buy houses.
We are the call to make for an as-is, fair cash offer.
We buy homes all over in any price range. Vacant, bad renter, nice homes you can't keep up with, even condos, apartments, and multifamily units.
Don't make any repairs or even clean up. And best of all, no closing costs.
We're helping people sell their house as is. Call today for a fast, fair cash offer.
Call 570-805-0000.
If you haven't called Senior Life Insurance Company for your free quote, you're probably paying too much. Senior Life was able to get this 65-year-old woman a $10,000 immediate benefit whole life plan for under $41 a month. She saved over $450 a year by choosing Senior Life. Some competitors cost twice as much. This 65-year-old man was paying almost $110 a month before he called Senior Life. We were able to cut his rate to $52, saving him almost $700 a year. These low rates are locked in, and so is the coverage amount. Hundreds of thousands of seniors have taken advantage of our low-cost plans built with seniors' budgets in mind. We saved this couple almost $1,400 a year with more coverage compared to what they were paying. Call now to find out if Senior Life Insurance Company can cut your rate in half. The quote is absolutely free. Switch to Senior Life and stop paying too much. Call now.
I'm interested in trying these new weight loss shots, but I need it to be more affordable because my insurance doesn't cover it. I'm not sure which online provider to trust, and I want to ask a doctor a lot of questions.
The secret's out. At Henry Meds, our knowledgeable providers demystify compounded semaglutide, the same active ingredient in brand name weight management meds. If you're eligible for treatment, your medication will be shipped to your door for just $297 a month. You could save thousands by using Henry Meds for weight management meds.
Your voice, your vote. Newswatch 16's live election coverage.
Thank you for joining us for our live election coverage. Lisa Washington, joined by Scott Schaefer, our entire team here tonight to bring you the election results as they come in. The polls, for the most part, closed just over an hour ago here in Pennsylvania. We do know there were some minor hiccups in Laughlin, Luzerne counties, so voters at one precinct have until 9:30 tonight to cast their ballots. Also an issue in Cambria County over in the western part of the state. Voters there will be allowed to cast their ballots until 10 tonight, so it could be quite some time before we have all of the votes from our Commonwealth.
Stacey Lang is at our big board tonight. She is watching the numbers as they come in.
Yeah, we've been talking about the 8th congressional district race quite a bit. We do have some numbers to talk about. Chances are, if you voted today, you know who your congressman is and what congressional district you're in. You might not know who else is in that district with you. The big board lets us look at what these districts are made up of. So we're talking about the 8th congressional district, which includes all of Wayne County, all of Pike County, all of Monroe County, Lackawanna County, and part of Luzerne County. And for our viewers who are just joining us, we've been talking about it throughout the night. There was a possible bomb threat at Penn Place in Wilkes-Barre, which has affected the vote count there. We do have some numbers to talk about in the part of Luzerne County that is part of the 8th congressional district. Right now, Matt Cartwright winning with 66% of the vote, but again, there's only 26,000 votes. And what we don't know is where they're coming from. At Penn Place, they're counting mail-in ballots, which lean Democratic, and that's the part of the vote count that has been interrupted. So we don't know if these are Wilkes-Barre City votes or somewhere else in the county that are coming in, these 26,000 votes that are right now going mostly to Matt Cartwright, with 85 separating him and Rob Bresnahan. The entire district, looking at the district-wide totals so far, 28%, almost 30% of the vote in at this point, 30,000 votes separating them, and Matt Cartwright, the incumbent, winning with 64.3%.
I'm seeing, if we're talking about where the votes are coming from in Luzerne County, we're seeing a couple of votes coming in the State House race in the 121st. That's Eddie Day Pashinsky. He is considered to be a pretty solid bet for re-election, and that's an understatement. He's the incumbent Democrat, and he also has a pretty significant lead. So I wonder if some of those numbers are coming in from Wilkes-Barre. That's what I'm trying. The point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, there's some numbers there. You see, again, incredibly early, but 71% already for Pashinsky.
Yeah, Dino Dissler taking on an established incumbent in a very difficult district. Tip of the hat to Mr. Dissler for taking this on. He's a businessman from the Wilkes-Barre area, but Eddie Day Pashinsky is going to be very difficult to beat tonight. So we are seeing some numbers out of Wilkes-Barre that might be skewing the numbers from Luzerne County in that Cartwright race as well, because if Matt Cartwright wins Luzerne County, I think we can all agree that he's in an extraordinarily strong position to win the election, and that would also be a tell for statewide votes as well, I would imagine.
It would indeed, and we hope to learn soon when the counting resumes in Luzerne County. Our Carrie Kearns is there at Penn Place, so as soon as we get that word, of course, we will pass that on to you, because it could be a very long night in Luzerne County.
We do have a lot of numbers coming in. Maybe we can run down some of these boards. We can start with the United States Senate race. Casey and McCormick, we've been saying all night that this is going to be a close race. It's going to be Bob Casey's closest race yet, as he runs for his fourth term, and there you see the numbers so far. Again, Democratic numbers early have been strong, but these are early numbers. Parts of the state that are where the strong Republican numbers obviously have not come in yet, so don't be alarmed or satisfied with these by any means, because things are going to change remarkably as we go along. Our next race is the 7th district race. That's the congressional race in the Lehigh Valley. We were talking about Susan Wild and Ryan McKenzie. Wild's the incumbent Democrat, and she is leading in this. She is also considered to be in a strong position, not tremendously strong position. That seat is always going to be a little tricky in the Lehigh Valley and in the Poconos, but Wild with the early lead tonight. There you see the two candidates. McKenzie is a state representative from the Allentown area, and Susan Wild is running for a fourth term. She was unopposed in the primary. The 8th district we talked about, Cartwright and Bresnahan, and again, Cartwright with the early numbers there, but we are waiting for some more definitive figures coming in from Luzerne County.
This is a little higher, though. This is 31% reporting now. So again, we still have a long way to go, but the percent of those reporting seems to have increased a good bit since the last numbers we saw.
Can we read anything into that, Jim Bognett? 31% now in this race.
Well, my estimate would be that there'll be about 350,000 votes come in, so we got another 230,000 votes coming. So while it is a nice lead for Matt Cartwright right now, I think it will tighten up considerably as we get over the 200,000 vote mark.
It would be shocking if it did not. Corey, you agree?
Yeah, too early to tell. We don't really know where those votes are coming in. I think this, as Jim said, this is going to be close here. Certainly a lot closer than that.
And something we haven't talked about, we don't have the final numbers, of course, is voter turnout. Many people say this was a really high turnout for this year's election, so that will only lead to, again, those high numbers once we get the final totals in. But I know I had to wait normally at a place where I can just walk in and vote, 15, 20-minute wait time, and I know a number of people had that same experience today.
The Democratic chairman in Philadelphia said it was the heaviest voter turnout he's seen in that city in 50 years. Bob Brady, the former congressman who has seen a number of elections in Philadelphia, no doubt about that. Corey.
Well, and think about it from an issue standpoint. What do people care most about? If you're a Republican, you care about the economy and immigration. If you're a Democrat, you care about the economy and democracy, and maintaining and strengthening democracy. Those seem to be the two top issues, depending on your party. And as Lisa said earlier, reproductive rights, that doesn't poll very high nationally, but in Pennsylvania, I mean, you're on one side or the other, and you're passionate about your position, and you're voting. So it's interesting to see. I think that this electorate is the most mobilized electorate that I have seen certainly over the course of the last 20 to 30 years, maybe even longer than that. I mean, people are coming out with an issue and they're voting on it. So it's going to be interesting. I think we're going to see higher turnout than normal because of that issue voting, irrespective of what the issue is. I think we're going to see some significant turnout.
That's a key point. You know, last time we had 100 and I believe it was 55 million votes cast in the presidential election. I think that turnout is beaten this year.
For sure.
Yeah, here we go. All right. Well, we're seeing the numbers are starting to roll in. And we've talked much about the Fern Laird and Brenda Pugh race. That's the 120th State House race for my friends back in the control room. And we see some numbers there. 27% of the votes are already in that. And Fern Laird with the early lead at 27% in. Now, this is a Luzerne County based seat, mostly on the west side, the northern west side. Kingston 44th and out into the back mountain. Laird is running for the seat for the second time. She lost to the incumbent Aaron Coffer 2 years ago. Coffer retiring. Pugh, considered a very, very strong Republican contender. The early numbers have Laird in the lead. Gentlemen, Corey, thoughts?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I would suggest to you in Lackawanna County and Luzerne counties that those votes are city votes coming in. Typically in the past, now I don't know if the policy has changed, but in the past, those mail-in ballots would go to the local precincts because they have to look at the absentee, and if the person comes in, they void the absentee so that the person who comes in to vote in person can then register their vote. So those absentee ballots in the past, at least in Lackawanna County, have come in with the other ballots. And if that's the case in Luzerne County, if that's the case in Lackawanna County, those closest to the election office are going to be those early ballots. So in both of those counties, those are city votes. That's a little bit of problematic for Senator Bob Casey, whose early votes didn't look great. But for Fern Laird in Luzerne County, that looks promising.
And
Sorry.
I was just going to say it bears repeating that Luzerne County, we know, is now currently counting at the moment because of some sort of threat there at Penn Place. So when we get news about that, they have evacuated the parts of that building, and so the election officials are being kept into one room there. So we are closely monitoring that. We do have a crew there at Penn Place, and things will change once we get more of the numbers in. But as of right now, Luzerne County, they have not started vote counting.
Jim, you're from Luzerne County.
I am from Luzerne County, and I just wanted to make the point that this race is so interesting. Luzerne County is so interesting. It's flipped from Democratic registration. It was for a long time working class Democrats in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. Now Republicans have taken a small lead in registration. I think when we do the post-election analysis on the Trump and Harris race, people are going to look to Luzerne County. And if President Trump is able to run up the numbers there like he did in 2016, you are going to see a Trump win. If, on the other hand, it goes the other way, you won't. Luzerne County is the key county in the state of Pennsylvania.
The only county in all of the swing states that went twice for Obama and twice for Trump. We are also watching the statewide races tonight, obviously, and one of those is for the open seat for Pennsylvania Attorney General. Two candidates from York County. York County. We'll talk about that at some other point. The gubernatorial race 6 years ago was two candidates from York. What the heck's going on in York County?
A lot of politicians in York County there. But we want to check in now with the Dave Sunday campaign, and Ryan Yee, who is from our sister station in Harrisburg, is with the Sunday campaign. Tell us what's happening where you are, Ryan.
That's right, guys. Yeah, both of the candidates, Sunday and DePasquale, having those York County ties. So this place in particular has a special meaning for both of them here at the Dave Sunday campaign watch party at the Yorktown Hotel. It's a lot of excitement, a lot of and then for DePasquale being that state representative of that 95th district. So again,
your zip code with additional benefits or cost savings you may not be receiving now or that may have previously not been available to you. Different Part C plans are available in different parts of the country, so don't wait. Call the number on your screen now. If you're on Medicare, you can call even if you called last year. We will check to see if there is a Part C plan available in your area with additional benefits or cost savings. Call to speak with a licensed insurance agent before the end of the annual enrollment period. You don't get Medicare Part C benefits automatically, so call now for your free 2025 no-obligation Medicare benefits review.
Just call 800-502-0172. 800-502-0172.
This is an important message for everyone on Medicare. Right now is the Medicare annual enrollment period, and today we are talking about Medicare Part C, commonly called Medicare Advantage. If you don't have a Medicare Part C plan, call now. You may be eligible for plans in your zip code with additional benefits or cost savings you may not be receiving now or that may have previously not been available to you. Different Part C plans are available in different parts of the country, so don't wait. Call the number on your screen now. If you're on Medicare, you can call even if you called last year. We will check to see if there is a Part C plan available in your area with additional benefits or cost savings. Call to speak with a licensed insurance agent before the end of the annual enrollment period. You don't get Medicare Part C benefits automatically, so call now for your free 2025 no-obligation Medicare benefits review.
Just call 800-502-0172. 800-502-0172.
Welcome back. Your Voice, Your Vote 2024, 9:16 in the p.m. The polls in Pennsylvania have been, for the most part, closed for a little more than an hour. Results are rolling in. We're getting in some races close to 50% of the vote totals being reported. It's starting to get exciting.
It is indeed. Again, 9:16. We know that there's the one precinct in Laughlin and Luzerne County. Voters there have until 9:30 tonight to cast their ballots. And then statewide in Cambria County, voters there have until 10 tonight. So it still could be a while before we get all of the numbers. And we've been talking about a number of the statewide races, but also the local races here that have been drawing a lot of attention and the money spent on some of the campaigns. Once we get those final totals, I think it will be surprising. I mean, we're talking about for members of the state house, for Congress, as well as for the Senate. They're just millions and millions of dollars.
And Jim Bognett brought up a point. We're talking about the House district, the 118th district. This is Luzerne and the Down Valley communities of Lackawanna County. It's an open, Jim Haddock is a freshman representative, and he's running for his first re-election. Michaela Cathio is the Republican who is challenging him, and we saw a lot of commercials for this race throughout the campaign season. Cathio is a first-time candidate, and Haddock even brought in Governor Shapiro to make an ad for him down the stretch. You know Michaela Cathio, Jim Bognett. She was a member of your campaign?
She is a great person. She worked on my campaign. Her father was a well-known veterinarian in Luzerne County and well-respected in the community. I think why this race is so interesting is it shows the way campaigns are going. Both of these candidates had most of their commercials paid for by outside groups outside of the district. That is the way campaigns tend to be going in these expensive races. It will be interesting to see the result when most of the spending on both sides was done by outside groups.
Haddock won this one. It was an open seat 2 years ago, and this is, again, his first re-election bid. Cathio coming in, I wouldn't say a long-time Republican worker, but certainly has had some experience in Republican politics. Thoughts on this race, Corey?
She was running ads in July. Just
Right.
to give you a sense, I mean, she was running ads in July. I mean, it just, she got out there early. She's been doing it. Jim Haddock, I think most people in Lackawanna County, I mean, he represents the lower half of Lackawanna County. I'd venture to guess that most people in Lackawanna County don't know who he is, quite frankly.
Former mayor of Avoca, former Luzerne County employee, again, running for that second term. But you're right, a number of those political action committees pumping that money into these campaigns for that advertising.
And also remember and think about it. When is an incumbent most vulnerable?
First time.
First term, yeah.
First term, first re-election. Man, this is like a great civics class. Everybody knows the answer. Everybody gets A's. But that's true, right? So this is the election that if you're going to strike, you need to strike. And to Jim's point, if you're going to pour money into a district, do it now.
Well, here we go. We'll keep an eye on the numbers in this, but so far, Representative...
43%, is that right?
That's one of the highest amounts, 45%. That's one of the highest vote amounts that we have in so far. And Haddock, 46%. Holy moly.
3%.
43.
Yep.
Somebody hit me. Yeah, okay. 43%, 62 to 38 so far, and a difference of about 4,000 votes, a little less than 4,000 votes for Haddock at this point. So that's where we stand. And other state House districts, the 119th is Alec Rincavage, also running for his first re-election. He's the Republican. This is the district also in Luzerne County, but lower west side, Plymouth, Nanticoke area. And Rincavage would have to be, he's a young man, but he'd have to be considered a strong candidate for re-election in this district as well.
I would say Alec is the heavy favorite in this district, but one interesting point about this was the race in which Luzerne County sent out 800 ballots that had the wrong spelling of his name and had to send out a new batch of ballots. That's added to some of the complaints in Luzerne County about the election board and the election office. I got calls on it today. Do I vote the first ballot? I got the second ballot. It just shows that we need to have better logistics in our elections so people regain confidence in our elections. I think that's going to be a big story if anything interesting happens in this election.
We should mention that the numbers are 6% reporting in this as compared to the 43%. Again, 6% reporting there, and you see fewer than 4,000 votes so far. Rincavage, though, with that lead.
Megan Coker is from Plymouth and pursuing a master's degree in criminal justice. She has been a political organizer in the past, and she is running for the State House against an incumbent. That is never easy, so we certainly salute her effort at the very least.
Correct. We haven't mentioned the 123rd district. I don't know if we have any numbers in from that. We have Tim
Twardzik, yeah, from Mrs. T's fame. Yes. No numbers. I have no numbers from that at this point.
Correct. Again, this is parts of Schuylkill County, Pottsville, Ashland, and Minersville, but we will keep an eye on that one as well. In the 124th district, also parts of Schuylkill County there.
Right. Yeah. The Schuylkill County numbers, I think, were late in the spring
primary,
as well.
yeah.
And we were a little curious as to why that was, but.
Hopefully we'll get those in at some point. We'll be here for quite some time.
Yeah, our friends in Pottsville, we're thinking about you.
That's right.
Corey, totally off topic, but I'd love to see the presidential race and the Senate race to see how that's trending. Is McCormick trending with Trump higher, lower? Is Casey higher or lower than Harris? Love to see a visual on something like that, because that would be interesting. I think that would tell a little bit of the story. As we know, when Barack Obama first ran for president, Casey was trending a little bit higher than Obama. It'd be interesting to see where they are and if they're really in lockstep or not. That's going to tell us, that's going to be some early signs as to where this race goes on the presidential side, how closely it's aligned and tied to that Senate race. As a great example, McCormick, right, he has run every campaign ad really tying himself. He made a decision early on, tie himself to Donald Trump, and he did that.
He even tried to tie himself to Donald Trump 2 years ago when Trump endorsed the other guy.
Interesting.
We have been talking tonight about some of the problems they're having in Luzerne County, and Newswatch 16's Carrie Kearns is at Penn Place in Wilkes-Barre to maybe bring us up to date on exactly what's happening there tonight. Carrie.
Hi, Scott. Yes, I'm going to step out of the way because right now a lot of action is happening because all the ballots are coming in from the voting districts here in Luzerne County. Earlier, about an hour or so ago, there's some tense moments because there was a bomb threat called in to Penn Place, and it happened just before 8. A bomb-sniffing dog was brought in from Scranton. Nothing was found. Now, County Manager Romilda Crocamo, she discussed the situation with law enforcement and decided it was not a credible threat because this threat has been happening all over the Commonwealth. Threats were being called into counties all over the area. So we were evacuated from the voting area into another part of the building while the bomb-sniffing dog was brought in, did a sweep, and nothing was found, thank God. We haven't been let in yet. We decided to step outside so we can bring you the story live. And we'll be here all night as the ballots come in and the counting begins. But as of right now, I'm Carrie Kearns reporting live tonight in downtown Wilkes-Barre. Back to you guys.
Carrie, thank you so much for that live report. Of course, we will continue to check in with you to get the latest on that situation there at Penn Place in Luzerne County.
We are joining ABC News right now. You're watching WNEP live coverage of Election Night 2024. We are on live on WNEP2 and on WNEP Plus, and we're covering all the local races. And one of those local races is a statewide race. It's local to us because incumbent Democratic Senator Bob Casey is from Scranton. He is joined by his supporters tonight at the Scranton Cultural Center, and Newswatch 16's Melissa Steininger is there. Melissa.
Yeah, Scott, it is a hometown crowd tonight at the Cultural Center for Senator Bob Casey as he is looking to be elected for his 4th term in the U.S. Senate. But all eyes have been on Scranton, both in the national spotlight and the local spotlight as well. I'm actually joined here by Mayor Paige Cognetti. Thank you so much for joining us, Mayor.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about how this election season has been for you as mayor, especially with that national spotlight. We saw President Joe Biden make a return back home recently. Just tell me, how has it been for you having Scranton in the spotlight?
Scranton is often in the national spotlight, and this fall was no different, especially this last burst here this last weekend. I mean, from John Legend, who came home to Bethel AME Church, to President Joe Biden on Saturday, to Kamala Harris, Madam Vice President herself yesterday. It's been a really big weekend, a lot of focus here, which is great, but with that comes a lot of responsibility. You see in this room a lot of folks who are tired. They're excited for tonight, but they're tired because they've been working so hard to elect Kamala Harris, to elect Bob Casey, to elect Matt Cartwright. So a lot of hard work went into this, and that's why we get so many visitors. We know when Scranton comes out, when Lackawanna County comes out, Democrats win. That's what we're hoping to see tonight.
You have been right by the sides of a lot of these candidates. How has that been for you, just going through all of the hoops while also continuing to do your duties as mayor here in the city of Scranton?
It's really exciting for me. I started off on campaigns. That's what brought me to northeastern Pennsylvania in the first place. So it's very fun for me to be with campaign staff and be able to, of course, represent Scranton on that national stage, working with President Biden, working with Vice President Harris, making sure that people understand why Scranton, why northeastern Pennsylvania matters so much. It's full of a lot of people who are very, very concerned voters. They do their homework. They don't always vote straight ticket Democrat, Republican. They really think it through. They want to meet the candidates. They want authenticity, and they want somebody to really deliver for them. So we're going to see that tonight. I think we're going to see the result of people really thinking through who it is that they want to represent them. Here in this room, of course, we know that's Senator Bob Casey.
We are seeing, obviously, Scranton in the spotlight here at home, as we usually do. What do you think people across the country not only see Pennsylvania as, but Scranton as throughout this electoral process has been unfolding?
Sometimes people simplify. I think if you're across the country, like, oh, Pennsylvania is this, that, or the other thing. We know Pennsylvania is such an incredibly diverse state. 13 million people from Philadelphia up to the northern tier. It's a really diverse state, which makes it so special, which is why we love it. People might think that we leave the rural counties behind. That's not true at all. As Democrats, we make sure that we get every vote out we possibly can, whether it's Philadelphia or a rural county somewhere else in the state. So we really have been working hard as a party for many years for that. We're looking forward to that result tonight, where just because your county is going to be red on the map tonight doesn't mean that it didn't turn out Democrats. And the same goes for Republicans. You're going to see Republicans that vote in blue counties, and it really is going to come down to the margins. We know it'll be tight, but we're feeling good here.
We have some close races here in the city of Scranton. What are you thinking? Do you think that momentum is going to be carried in through this late night that we're expecting here in Scranton?
we know it's going to be tight, and we know Pennsylvania might not all come in tonight, right? We have to set that expectation that it might be tomorrow before we know more, but hopefully we'll know enough to go home feeling positive here about Senator Casey, Congressman Cartwright, and Vice President Harris. It's going to be a long one, though. I think we're in for it.
Mayor, thank you so much. Scott, Lisa, as you heard here, we're expecting a late night. Of course, some of those early numbers are starting to trickle in, but spirits very high so far here at the Scranton Cultural Center. But for now, live in Scranton, Melissa Steininger, Scott, Lisa, I'll throw it back to you.
Melissa, thank you so much for that report. We do want to go back, though, to the 120th. We're going to check in with Newswatch 16's Mackenzie Alker, who is with the Pew campaign there at the Fox Hill Country Club in Exeter. We understand the former representative, Aaron Coffer, has lended his support to her and actually speaking. We're going to check in with them now.
That's all right.
Thank you, everybody. It's been quite a day and a journey for the last year. And everybody in this room has had a part of it. You're all part of the Brenda team. You've all put into this. You've all helped. The people standing here, Sam, you and Lisa kicked us off. I can't thank you enough for that, so thank you. Thanks. Karen and Lisa, I couldn't do this without your guidance, so thank you. Thank you for always having my back. I am super excited and I am so ready to get to work for the residents of the 120. I have family here tonight and I want to really thank my husband Alan, aka Santa, right now. My son and my two daughters are here, and my son-in-law. I can't thank them enough for being out there for me today and for working with me. Charlie made it all the way in from Montana. Thank you for coming down. To the law enforcement in the room, I promise you guys, I have your back. I'm going to make sure you get what you need to keep our community safe, because that is top priority for me. So I've got your back. Tony, thank you. Thank you very much. Tony Valenti has been an inspiration to me for during this journey, so I can't thank you enough. And to our community leaders that are here, thank you for having my back. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you for coming out to work for me. It means the world to me, and I won't forget it. I also want to thank, we have a group of young Republicans here tonight, if they're in the room. Yep. Yes. They have been out working with me on the streets and getting this job done. We could not have done it without them. We've logged a lot of miles. We've got a lot more miles to go to get some work done. So thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for supporting me.
All right, that's Brenda Pugh. She is the Republican state representative-elect in Luzerne County's 120th district. It's an interesting fact because our numbers at 35% show Democrat Fern Leard still in the lead. It gives you an idea that the campaigns themselves know much more than we do about what's going on. They have their internal numbers. They know what's going on. Now, our Adithya Iyer is with the Leard campaign. She is in Wilkes-Barre at Rodano's. I imagine the declaration of victory from the other side of the river must have hit home there, too, Adithya.
Scott, that's exactly right. I just asked Fern Lear just minutes ago what she thinks about Brenda Pugh declaring victory a little bit prematurely according to our own numbers. And she said that the voters will decide and nothing has been officially declared yet, and we'll just see how this race ends up going. Now, according to Leard, she's just going to be waiting exactly to see how this election goes. And this election and this race specifically is one that's particularly interesting. That's because neither candidate, Brenda Pugh or Fern Leard, are the incumbent in today's race. Previously, Aaron Coffer had said that he's not going to be running for re-election in this upcoming election, leaving this seat particularly vacant. And this specific district is also kind of interesting because aside from the previous predecessor of Aaron Coffer, who was a Democrat, this entire district has been primarily held by a Republican since 1970. So we'll just have to see exactly how this race goes and see what the numbers say earlier down in today's election results. And, you know, we can also talk about the fact that Brenda Pugh and Fern Leard have both not run, but Fern Leard specifically, she actually ran against Aaron Coffer back in 2022, which she had then lost by a margin of about 30%. So we'll see how this race goes and see what the numbers says, and we'll figure out exactly who won this race today. Aditya Iyer, Newswatch 16, reporting live in Wilkes-Barre.
All right, Aditya, thank you so much for that report. Again, if you're just joining us, Brenda Pugh has declared victory in this race, the 120th. We're going to show you the numbers. We have 35% reporting showing Leard in the lead, but again, Pugh has declared victory. As we said, the campaigns have information and numbers that we do not have.
And we have no reason to believe anything but that Brenda Pugh is the state representative-elect in the 120th district. Fern Leard with another spirited run for the office, but coming up short again, second time in 2 elections. We're going to take a quick break at 9:34. We'll be back with the final 25 minutes of this live coverage before we go right into Newswatch 16 at 10. And we're going to have more winners between now and then, so stay with us here on The Deuce.
Sometimes it's hard to see past the looming repair and replacement costs all around your house. Finally, you can stop seeing money and start saving money with First American Home Warranty. First American covers the systems and appliances you depend on every day. Air conditioning, refrigerator, washer and dryer, electrical, plumbing, and more.
If there's one guarantee in homeownership, it's that things are going to break down.
When an appliance or system breaks down, First American sends a trusted contractor to fix it.
And if they can't fix it, they will replace it.
Members pay low monthly rates with unlimited claims and 24/7 customer service.
We've saved thousands of dollars that we've been able to reinvest into our home.
All plans include a no questions asked money back guarantee and flexible payment options so you can never pay for covered repairs again. Call 1-800-508-6823 now or go online to get your free no obligation quote. So call now.
I'm Martha Stewart, and this is one of my new kittens. Of course, I want to give them the happiest, healthiest life possible, which is why I choose Pretty Litter. We love this litter because it's tough on odor and helps keep tabs on their health by changing color to show high, low, and typical pH levels. Pretty Litter is also low dust. And whether you're a new cat parent or a lifelong cat lover like me, this low-maintenance litter is the game changer. Try it today. Go to prettylitter.com.
What I love about this service that Henry Meds provides is hope. I love Henry Meds for a couple of reasons. Very, very convenient for our patients. It's simple. You get online, you're gonna fill out a health questionnaire that we're gonna ask you a bunch of questions about your health history. We wanna know some really specific things. People are having great.
We are continuing our live coverage, Your Voice, Your Vote, Election Night 2024. A lot of numbers still getting to. We have one person who has declared victory in the 120th, that being Brenda Pugh. But we want to take a look now at some more of the numbers.
Stacey Lang is looking at things statewide and seeing how they're shaping up for some of the big races.
Yeah, we're taking a look at all the statewide races as well as the president. We haven't really taken a look at the statewide map and the presidential race in a little bit. And since we last looked at this map, you'll see a lot more red has filled in on this county map of Pennsylvania as those numbers come in. We have about 28% of the vote in so far for the presidential race. Right now, Vice President Harris in the lead with 54.5%. Donald Trump is 44.6%. There's about 200,000 votes separating them right now as votes continue to trickle in. And we were talking about earlier, Corey, one of the things Corey O'Brien brought up, was it'll be interesting to see how these numbers align with the Senate race. And it just changed as we've been on the air here. So it might not be exactly the same. It is exactly the same. But Bob Casey and Vice President Harris have been holding almost exact and sometimes exact percentages of the vote as these numbers are coming in. There is a bit of a separation between the Republican Senate candidate Dave McCormick and former President Donald Trump. Trump has 45.9% of the vote statewide compared to Dave McCormick's 44%. So really small margins between those two compared to the exact same percentage for Bob Casey and Vice President Harris. What does that tell us?
It almost seems to me like this is more of a traditional Pennsylvania election that we have seen in the past, whereas all the blue numbers come in early, and then the red numbers catch up slowly. They either catch up and overtake the blue numbers, or they catch up and fall just short. And that has been different over the last couple of years because of COVID and mail-in ballots. We've seen we get like the early blue surge, then we get the red surge in the middle, and the blue surge again at the end. It doesn't seem to be going that way. Am I wrong about that, Corey?
You know what? I see this as being a little overperformance by Trump. With Harris and Casey right at 53%, that strikes me as being about right. When I see Trump and McCormick 46% and 44%, that Trump is outpacing and overperforming the Republican Party right now. And a margin like that could make the difference in the presidential race, where you could have, and we've talked about this, there's a potential outcome where you have Donald Trump winning and Bob Casey winning.
In Pennsylvania.
This sets that up early on here with someone outperforming the Republicans and Bob Casey performing well as the Democrat. Remember, Bob Casey is the standard bearer in Pennsylvania for Democrats. I mean, make no mistake. He's as moderate as the day is long. So this is the candidate who can hang on to this seat. If you're looking at a seat in the United States to hold on to, if you're a Democrat, it's Bob Casey's in Bob Casey's state where he's a moderate, right? So this is that kind of race, and these percentages tell me Bob Casey's where he should be, 53%. Trump might be a little bit better than the party. And if that's the case, that could spell some trouble for Harris, potentially. We have to see where these numbers come in. But I think it's good news for Bob Casey, and I'd be a little bit more nervous for Kamala Harris.
All right, that's an interesting take on the situation. I'd like to hear Jim Bognet's thoughts. You've heard Corey's explanation here. What do you see it the same way?
Well, I think it's certainly true that Mr. Casey is running a little bit ahead of Vice President Harris. I think that this is going to be an incredibly close race. I think, I think Trump will win Pennsylvania. You could see a Trump win in Pennsylvania and a Casey win. I think it'll come down to can that stay between 1.5 to 2 points. Anything more than that, and it will go the other way.
Do we think that there will be any surprises? We looked at the map that Stacey showed there, and I don't think there were anything surprises. We saw the blue Pittsburgh and the red around the surrounding counties there. Same, we know Philadelphia tends to be more of the Democratic. Do we expect any surprises in any of the states?
Well,
any of the counties.
We saw it blue. Some of the counties I want to keep an eye on. Northampton was blue on that map that Stacey showed us. Erie was blue on that map. Bucks County, which has that's one of the suburban collar counties of Philadelphia, that has recently gone to a Republican majority of registration, very narrowly in Bucks County, but those are very, very moderate Republicans. Those are not hardcore conservatives in the collar counties of Philadelphia. They never have been what they always used to call the pro-choice soccer mom Republicans down there. It's not quite like that anymore, but the numbers in Bucks County reflect that as well.
We would expect Luzerne County to vote for Trump. We would expect Lackawanna County to vote for Casey. If for some reason, Jim said this earlier with respect to Luzerne County, I would say it now with respect to Lackawanna County, that if we see that there is not some overperformance by one candidate in one of those counties, it could spell trouble. There's another little dirty underlying secret that nobody wants to talk about, and it's voter registration. What's happened since 2019? Democrats went from 48% to 45%. Where did the 3% go? 2% of that went to the Republican Party. 1% went to independents. That's 3% left the party and moved. Where does that play here? Is it already considered in the polling and it's just a tight race? Or does that change some of the math here on the statewide level? We may or may not know that answer tonight, but look at that voter registration. That has been, getting closer. Republicans have been gaining there.
To piggyback on that point, Luzerne County flipped Republican this year. It has not been Republican since 1972, Richard Nixon's last race, before I was born. So it's a big point. And we just had a graphic up. Every white county is where we don't have numbers from. Those are all Republican counties in the T. So as those counties
except Center.
Right.
Well, Center flipped to Republican about a month ago.
Oh, okay.
So Center is now slightly Republican. My point being, as we fill those in, we're going to see that race get down to a point or two.
And again, this is still just 32%, so we still have quite a ways to go, but certainly some early indicators here perhaps of what this might mean both for the president and for U.S. Senate.
But it's getting tighter and tighter. Every new bunch of numbers that come in makes it tighter and tighter, and that's exactly what we expected. It'll be tighter than that, too. It's not going to end up at 5 points either way. So, buckle up.
That's right.
And Lisa, to your point, Lisa, one thing that you're mentioning here is 32% reporting. That's important because that doesn't mean, at 32%, that doesn't just mean the conservative T is out.
Right.
That means that there's a lot of urban votes that aren't being counted yet.
Correct.
So you still have a lot more coming out of Philadelphia that has not been tabulated, a lot more coming out of Pittsburgh that has not necessarily been tabulated if you're at 32%. So that bodes well for Kamala Harris, quite frankly.
And I'm thinking about what you said there, Corey, and just looking at the registered voters in Pennsylvania, there are now more than 1 million independents registered in Pennsylvania. The 9.1 million, more than 1 million of those are no affiliate, 347,000 others. So again, where do those votes lie? Did those people, Republican, Democrat, time will tell. And even with the ballots that were requested for mail-in, more than almost 300,000 independents. And so, we don't know how those people voted.
We're at 9:45 now, 15 minutes till we come up on Newswatch 16 at 10. We'll continue our live election coverage with the updated numbers. Hopefully have some more winners for you. Also bringing the news of the day, your weather for the rest of the week, and everything else that's important. So stay with us here on WNEP2. The numbers are rolling at the bottom of the screen throughout the evening. You can see for yourself how things are getting tighter. It was a big, saw the race right there for Auditor General that Kenyatta and DeFore. That race is getting tighter as are all the other races. So there's going to be a lot more to come here tonight. So we are going to take a quick break right now, and we hope you'll stay with us here on WNEP2.
Tell you something? Tonight, I'm calling Quest. Meeting someone new has never been so easy. I call Quest and I record a simple message. Hi, my name is Chloe. I like to have fun and I'm looking to meet somebody new to hang out with. Instantly, I was making real connections with real people. It was that easy. I was just myself. Why not try something new tonight? You never know who's out there. You should call Quest tonight.
Call 1-888-717-1717 now.
Sometimes it's hard to see past the looming repair and replacement costs all around your house. Finally, you can stop seeing money and start saving money with First American Home Warranty. First American covers the systems and appliances you depend on every day. Air conditioning, refrigerator, washer and dryer, electrical, plumbing, and more.
If there's one guarantee in home ownership, it's that things are going to break down.
When an appliance or system breaks down, First American sends a trusted contractor to fix it.
And if they can't fix it, they will replace it.
Members pay low monthly rates with unlimited claims and 24/7 customer service.
We've saved thousands of dollars that we've been able to reinvest into our home.
All plans include a no questions asked money back guarantee and flexible payment options so you can never pay for covered repairs again. Call 1-800-508-6823 now or go online to get your free no obligation quote. So call now.
I'm Martha Stewart, and this is one of my new kittens. Of course, I want to give them the happiest, healthiest life possible, which is why I choose Pretty Litter. We love this litter because it's tough on odor and helps keep tabs on their health by changing color to show high, low, and typical pH levels. Pretty Litter is also low dust. And whether you're a new cat parent or a lifelong cat lover like me, this low-maintenance litter is the game changer. Try it today. Go to Pretty Litter.
The time is now 9:47. We are continuing our live coverage of Your Voice, Your Vote Election Night 2024. We are starting to get in more results now. We're seeing some higher numbers of counties that are reporting their percentages. We're going to take a look at some of those because I think counties matter a lot, obviously, in Pennsylvania, 67 of them. And the numbers are varying greatly depending on the county of which you're talking.
Corey O'Brien asked about this, how the counties and where the numbers are coming from, because that is critically important here is how we're reading this. Stacey Lang is at the big board, and she's keeping an eye on the percentages of the county vote.
Yeah, and in some counties, it may be unsurprising in our more rural, that conservative red T areas of the state, they're almost done for the night. We have got 98, 95% of the vote in some of those counties, more urban counties. They still have a long night to go, and that could really affect which way the state goes. Let's just skim through the northern tier here. Tioga County, 76% of the vote. Trump with a commanding lead there. Potter County, 80% of the vote for former President Trump. They have 91% of the vote in. Lycoming County, 70% of the vote for former President Donald Trump, and they're reporting 98% already counted. So it's over in those less populated, more rural counties. But if we were to go down to the more liberal areas of the state, Philadelphia, well, this is Delaware County, still only a 17% reporting. I think Philadelphia County has just gotten some new numbers in. 28%, I think it was 17% when we were in commercial break, and Kamala Harris with 80% of the vote there in Philadelphia County. So there's a lot more counting to be done in those urban areas. Let's take a look at Pittsburgh and Allegheny County. 57% of the vote coming in there, but Vice President Harris in the lead, only about 120,000 votes separating those two. So we're going to keep watching as those more populated counties, those percentages go up and see which way that swings.
Will you show us Erie County as well, Stacey?
Sure. Erie County, 3,000 votes separating Donald Trump in the lead right now with 58.5%.
But 2% reporting. Is that right?
Only 2% reporting. You're right.
Can we take a look at Lackawanna?
Mm-hmm. Lackawanna County has 98% reporting, so this is the way it's going to go for Lackawanna County. About 4,000 votes separating Vice President Harris with the lead there.
So I want to make a point on this. In 2020, Biden carried this much heavier than right now. So we're looking at only, what's that right there, about 3.5 points. If that trend continues, that's a very good sign for President Trump that he's outperforming in Joe Biden's home county.
What was the margin in 2022?
I believe it was something like 8 points.
Yeah, but that's a tough one because it is where he was born and raised. I mean, you only have one county in the country that can claim the birthplace of a presidential candidate, and it happened to be Lackawanna County. So I don't know if Lackawanna County is going to do that, Jim. I'd be more thinking about Philly and that area, because if they're at 23, 28% counting, it's a very difficult map for Donald Trump. That's hard to overcome if they're still only at 28%. There's a lot of votes in Philadelphia, and there's not a lot of votes in the conservative T, you know, when you're looking at Philadelphia. So right now, when I look at the map overall, generally speaking, I find the map to be very appealing to Kamala Harris, because the votes, the total outstanding votes in the conservative T right now, you know, there are fewer votes in that conservative T than there are in some of the urban areas. And if the urban areas, if Kamala Harris is carrying it 80%, 85%, if that holds up in Philadelphia, that's going to be a very difficult thing for Donald Trump to overcome, number one. And number two, we may know the outcome tonight.
That's the old Ed Rendell theory of how to carry Pennsylvania. Ed Rendell only won 10 of the 67 counties, but he won them by so much that it wasn't even a close election. And this is more than 10 counties. You can see right there if it holds up in this regard. And I don't think Cambria there, I don't expect to continue to be blue in any way, shape, or form. But that is basically the same kind of coalition that Ed Rendell used to win Pennsylvania.
And that's the question. Can what's missing make up for where we are now? Enough of the votes for former President
Will
Donald
the
Trump.
margin hold?
And Jim's point, though, is well taken, though. If the votes are lower in Lackawanna County than they were 4 years ago, Kamala Harris has to make that up somewhere. So she has to make that up in Philadelphia and somewhere else, or she's going to be in trouble there.
Each campaign has different theories of the case. The theory of the case for the Harris campaign is run up huge margins in Philly, dominate the suburbs around Philadelphia, and that's how we'll win. The Trump theory of the case is we are going to improve in rural counties, and we're also going to see an improvement among Latinos, men, and African Americans. We will see that in Philadelphia, as you said, but we'll also see it in Reading and Allentown, where there's a big Latino vote.
How did Biden do in Philadelphia?
Stacey can pull that up.
I
We'll
can
give
do
her
that. I can tell you.
This is live television. We're seeing it live right here.
Here's a look at the 2020 Pennsylvania map. You wanted to know Philadelphia County?
Yes.
In 2020, Joe Biden carried 81% of the vote. There were
And
about
Kamala
750,000.
Harris is a little bit above that now because
Yes,
I
with
think
a much
it was
smaller
about,
percentage, only 17% of the vote in right now tonight.
but
the
it was about
percentages are very similar.
83-15.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
So she's overperforming in Philadelphia, which would be part of the magic if she's not going to carry, to Jim's point, as much in Lackawanna.
Right.
Because there's far more votes in Philadelphia than there are in Scranton.
Let's take a look at Lackawanna County since Jim brought up
Heavy turnout in
Lackawanna
Philadelphia
County.
reported today, too. Heavy turnout.
Right.
So there's Lackawanna,
There's Lackawanna in
8.4
2020.
versus 4 right now.
That was
That's those are
53,
votes.
45.
Those are votes that the Democrats would not have this time around. So we'll see.
How about Bucks County?
Oh, you're
Right
challenging me.
You can do this, Stacey.
That's Montgomery.
No, the one to the no, the other way, the other direction.
yeah.
There you go.
There we go. Sorry.
You can do
There's
this,
a lot of
Stacey.
counties
Yeah,
in
67.
Pennsylvania. 51% of the vote for Joe Biden.
And how is that today?
I'm doing a lot of clicking here, Corey. There we go. Bucks County today, 58%
Well,
of the vote.
Wow.
Okay.
Doing much
Only
better there right now.
22%.
And again,
Don't
that
worry.
county has gone to majority Republican registration this year for the first time in quite some time, slightly. But Bucks County is more majority Republican now.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we're going to just put a pin in that for just a moment, but we do want to go back to Luzerne County because we know there was some issues there. We're going to check back in with our Carrie Kearns, who is live at Penn Place. Give us the latest, Carrie.
Hi, Lisa and Scott. Yes, standing outside Penn Place, the voting ballots kind of dwindled down. We haven't seen any cars come up with the ballots. A lot have been brought up earlier today. We mentioned that there was a bomb threat that was called in just before 8. A bomb sniffing dog from Scranton was brought in, swept the area, nothing was found. County Manager Romilda Crocomo discussed the situation with law enforcement, decided it wasn't a credible threat. This threat was made to several counties across the Commonwealth. So we're going to make our way upstairs where they're actually doing the counting since things have slowed down here. And we'll bring you the latest on later editions of Newswatch 16. For now, I'm Carrie Kearns reporting live tonight here in Wilkes-Barre.
Thank you, Carrie. We have some finals now. We are declaring some winners here on Newswatch 16 as we get close to 10 o'clock. We're going to be joining our ABC News counterparts in just about a minute. But we can show you a couple of these congressional races that we knew were not going to be particularly close. Incumbent Republican Dan Muser running for a 4th term, the former Pennsylvania Revenue Secretary from the back mountain of Luzerne County. He has won re-election in the 9th district. That's a sprawling district through parts of, I think, Columbia and Schuylkill, and even down to Berks County.
Bradford, Columbia, Lebanon, Montour, Schuylkill, Sullivan, Susquehanna, and Wyoming counties.
There you go.
And parts of Berks County.
Because, you know, Wyoming and Lebanon counties have so much in common.
All right.
All right. Also in the 15th district, that's Glenn Thompson, GT. He's reelected as well. That is no surprise. An easy reelection for Glenn Thompson. That is his 8th district. Welcome here on WNEP. This is WNEP's live election night coverage. We've been coming to you live all night on WNEP2 and WNEP Plus. Lisa Washington, Stacey Lang at the big board, our election analyst Corey O'Brien, and Jim Bognett breaking down all the numbers as they're coming in. We have some winners so far. We just reported on WNEP2 that Congressman Dan Muser and Congressman Glenn Thompson, both Republicans, have won easy re-election victories. Gentlemen, any thoughts on these two races for Congress?
I would say the least surprising results of the night.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, these are races that should have been won by the incumbents, and they are, so they're performing as predicted.
Do we have any numbers for the 8th district? We were talking about that earlier, of course. Well, we'll take a look at this as well. Again, the Glenn Thompson there, the incumbent, an easy victory for him.
But the 8th district is the one that a lot of people are keeping an eye on tonight.
Right.
That's going to be the closest one. In fact, Matt Cartwright seems to be routinely ranked as the most vulnerable incumbent member of Congress in the entire state of Pennsylvania. And we have more than 60% reporting now, and Cartwright does continue to hold a lead over Rob Bresnahan.
Cartwright, of course, is running for his 7th term. Bresnahan, the challenger, much younger there, who is hoping to take over for the 8th district there. We know the two debated in this campaign season. Millions of dollars spent on this one for sure. Would love to know those final numbers. Bresnahan is the CEO of the contracting company based in Luzerne County. Cartwright, of course, the incumbent there, was unopposed in the primary.
We wanted to look at the top of the ticket. Boy, this is getting real close, and we knew it would, but it is down to about 1 percentage point right now, separating Harris and Trump in the state of Pennsylvania, with about 40-some% in. Stacey Lang, you're at the big board. Any numbers that you see?
Yeah, what I have is reflecting what you just said, Scott, that margin is getting tighter and tighter as the night goes on. Now only 1 point, less than 1 point separating them. We did talk about Centre County. Earlier in the evening, the Centre County had, Jim, has more Republican registrations than Democrat right now, with only 33% of the vote in so far. Vice President Harris has the lead. We're watching those totals come in from the more urban areas, from Philadelphia, Allegheny County, where those heavy Harris votes are going to be coming in. A lot of the conservative
Medicare Advantage helps me do my job better because it makes me feel comfortable that these patients are able to afford the medications that I'm discussing with them. And if I recommend they need to get their vision done this year or their dental, they will be able to do that. Medicare Advantage helps me take care of my patients like I would want somebody to take care of my family, my mom, my dad, and me someday.
H&K has new career opportunities. Join a leading company that offers 100% paid health benefits. Work for us at the H&K Group. We want the best people to join our team, and we will invest in you. Get essential training in heavy construction, gain experience, and earn what you deserve. We're excited to meet you. The H&K Group does not discriminate. Visit hkgroup.com and apply today.
He is right now. Bob Casey's gonna come through, and Kamala Harris. I just think the math, when I look at that board, I think the math is getting very difficult for Donald Trump.
I think we still have to see the big cities. I think the Pittsburgh, the Philadelphia, we have to see higher percentages reporting from those counties. I think Allegheny, Philadelphia counties.
We've been mentioning that seesaw, not to interrupt you, Scott, but Donald Trump just took the lead in Pennsylvania for the first time this evening. But they are bouncing back and forth as those numbers continue to come in.
And Allegheny is an interesting market. It is majority Democrat, but I think there are more Republicans in Allegheny County than any other county in the state. Am I right or wrong?
I don't know that off the top of my head.
I do believe, it's been a few years, but I do believe that may be the case.
Allegheny has the most Republicans of any county in the state.
Per county, right.
Yeah, in terms of just raw numbers.
Yes,
but they still don't outnumber Democrats because obviously the city of Pittsburgh.
Right, exactly.
So the Allegheny County, obviously another one to keep an eye on. But what are
They have 66% of the vote in at this point, with Vice President Harris in the lead.
And it's 66%.
66%.
Could we compare that to 20?
Sure can.
Pretty close.
Pretty close to what's happening right now in 2024.
So that's the map from 2020 right there. You see it. So Centre County did go blue in 2020. Dauphin County went blue.
And Erie County.
And Erie went blue. So did Northampton and Bucks. Berks and Lancaster both went red. Lancaster, no surprise there. Berks can go either way. It's interesting. I mean, my goodness.
Well, Kamala Harris is outperforming Joe Biden in many of these counties. right? If he's going to
accept Lackawanna.
If she's going to accept Lackawanna, if she's going to out again his birthplace, if she's going to outperform Biden in these major cities, the math becomes very difficult for Donald Trump.
Could I set up the rest of the night? Right now, we're seeing calls on some of the decision desks for North Carolina and Georgia toward Trump. We can't take that to the bank, but that's where it looks like.
What decision desk?
Decision Desk HQ, which is one of the national reporting firms. If that happens, if that gets confirmed in the next hour, that's going to set up a situation where Trump only needs to win Pennsylvania or Wisconsin. But if he doesn't, or Michigan, then it's over and it's Harris's. So it's going to come down, as we predicted all night, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan.
What they call the Northern Route. We have to take a break, gentlemen, but we will be right back, so don't go anywhere. More of Your Voice, Your Vote 2024 after this.
Sometimes it's hard to see past the looming repair and replacement costs all around your house. Finally, you can stop seeing money and start saving money with First American Home Warranty. First American covers the systems and appliances you depend on every day. Air conditioning, refrigerator, washer and dryer, electrical, plumbing, and more.
If there's one guarantee in home ownership, it's that things are going to break down.
When an appliance or system breaks down, First American sends a trusted contractor to fix it.
And if they can't fix it, they will replace it.
Members pay low monthly rates with unlimited claims and 24/7 customer service.
We've saved thousands of dollars that we've been able to reinvest into our home.
All plans include a no questions asked money back guarantee and flexible payment options so you can never pay for covered repairs again. Call 1-800-508-6823 now or go online to get your free no obligation quote. So call now.
I'm Martha Stewart, and this is one of my new kittens. Of course, I want to give them the happiest, healthiest life possible, which is why I choose Pretty Litter. We love this litter because it's tough on odor and helps keep tabs on their health by changing color to show high, low, and typical pH levels. Pretty Litter is also low dust. And whether you're a new cat parent or a lifelong cat lover like me, this low-maintenance litter is the game changer. Try it today. Go to prettylitter.com.
I'm interested in trying these new weight loss shots, but I need it to be more affordable because my insurance doesn't cover it. I'm not sure which online provider to trust, and I want to ask a doctor a lot of questions.
The secret's out. At Henry Meds, our knowledgeable providers demystify compounded semaglutide, the same active ingredient in brand name weight management meds. If you're eligible for treatment, your medication will be shipped to your door for just $297 a month. You can save thousands by using Henry Meds for weight management medication.
Oh, yeah, dude, that doesn't look good.
I know what to do. I'm going to cashnetusa.com. I can apply in minutes, and if approved, I can have the money as soon as the same business day.
Go to cashnetusa.com to apply for the money you need.
These are just a few of the over 500,000 happy Audient hearing aid customers. They now live a better life because they hear better. And they hear better because they purchased a full pair of Audient Atom 2s for only $189. The Atom 2 is a tiny, nearly invisible over-the-counter hearing aid. They've got unsurpassed sound quality and only $189 a pair. And so easy to order. Call Audient.
1-800-617-6091. Mindy Ramsey and John Meyer. Weekday mornings starting at 4:30 on Newswatch 16. Only on WNEP. Your voice, your vote. Newswatch 16's live election coverage.
Welcome back to WNEP's live election coverage. You see the numbers in the bottom of your screen. We're getting deep into election night 2024, and it's getting very interesting across the state of Pennsylvania. All eyes in the nation on the state of Pennsylvania right now. Joined by, of course, Lisa Washington, our election analyst, Corey O'Brien, and Jim Bognett. Stacey Lang is at the big board, and she's keeping an eye on things for us there.
Yeah, we have more and more election results coming in statewide. We're also taking a look at the big congressional races going on. We're going to start with the 8th Congressional District, which we've been talking about all night. One of the most expensive races in the country, probably a historically expensive race when it comes to northeastern Pennsylvania. We do have some numbers to talk about. The incumbent Matt Cartwright running against Republican Rob Bresnahan. Earlier in the night, before Penn Place was cleared, we had some numbers that leaned Democrat in the part of Luzerne County that's in the 8th district. Now that has gone to Rob Bresnahan, which makes sense. He is a native of Luzerne County. And this is a part of the district, especially that Jim Bouknat knows well, having run twice in this district. Jim, what do these numbers in the Luzerne County portion of the district tell you?
Well, in 2022, I won Luzerne County by 2.6. Right now, Rob is winning by 2.4. So it's almost exactly on. If you go to Lackawanna County, I think you're going to see some improvements.
Yeah, Matt Cartwright winning Lackawanna County with 56% of the vote.
So you might look at that and say that's great, but he's winning by less than 13 points. He beat me in 2022 by 18 points. So if these numbers hold, and we've seen the Trump number be closer, this is a good sign in Lackawanna County for Rob Bresnahan. Not that he's not getting beat, but he's keeping the margin smaller than it was in the last two races.
And we still don't have any numbers from Pike County, which we would assume would lean Republican.
That will likely go 20 to 25 points Republican. Now, that is the smallest county in the district, but it will go heavily Republican, so it will take some out of that margin. I don't think it would be enough to take it all out, but it will take it even closer.
So it's still early, very early when it comes to the 8th Congressional District. Do you want to take a look at the 7th Congressional District?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. This is interesting. The incumbent, Susan Wild, now behind her challenger, Ryan McKenzie. Very tight margin, though, less than 2,000 votes separating those two candidates right now.
And 52% reporting, is that correct?
Yes.
That's, again, look, Carbon County is coming in strongly for McKenzie there. Yes, that's
very strong.
That's almost all. And then a little bit of Monroe is that little finger there. Yes, I guess the west end of Monroe is part of that district. That's going strongly.
Is that surprising?
Strongly for McKenzie.
That's not surprising. Those are very Republican districts of Monroe County. Carbon County, there was a controversy with Wild saying some negative things about Carbon County. That may explain the dark red there. But one of my